to be honest, don't really know what I'm doing.
He was often a player that I would buy on Football Manager.
It's already a terrible reason.
From Jon Snow, Matt puts Dan's wardrobe to shame.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Look at him, the cat that got the cream.
Ian Taylor said it was the worst thing he'd ever seen in his life. Monk, really, I know he's manager. What kind of say is
Gary Monk. 5 out of 10.
I haven't finished yet. I cannot believe Gabriel Bonner-Horst.
That's crazy,
That's
isn't
terrible. Yeah, we may well have lost listeners early doors again with a long-winded intro. Go, shoot. Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast with myself, Dan Bardell, and my colleague, Thomas Julian. Obviously, last week we joked after what was quite a depressing podcast, actually.
Yeah.
We joked that 6 easy points coming up, and as it turns out, we have had 6 points. Not easy, but we have had the aforementioned 6 points.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get onto it, but New Year's Day was absolutely fantastic. The 30th, I think we recorded the podcast on the 29th. Or maybe the day before.
28th, it was the 28th. The days all merge into one.
We came out of here going, oh, mate, that was awful to talk about. We had a really sad time, didn't we?
I mean, we was actually supposed to record the Villa View match preview after the podcast, but we depressed ourselves so much that we couldn't bring ourselves to stay another 15 minutes and do that preview, but we did it the next day. But yeah, I
mean, we should have done it that day because then I had horrendous computer issues.
No one really cares about your archaic dial-up internet, to be honest, you caveman. But
the hamster wheel running around. But yeah, let's talk about the football. Let's talk about Aston Villa, Middlesbrough, a 1-0 win, Snodgrass at the back post, and Villa come out of that with 3 points. And it didn't seem the best game, but a huge 3 points for Villa.
Spoke with Ian Taylor yesterday, obviously working with him for Villa, and he said it was a ugly win. But I think you have to be able to do both. In football in general, Man U were always able to do this. You have to be able to win those ugly games, take the 1-0. Man U used to go through periods of doing that under Sir Alex Ferguson all the time. But you've also got to be able to play the expansive football, and we actually showed yesterday that we're capable. I didn't know that we were, but we're actually capable of doing that under Steve Bruce. So you've got to have the both sides, but the Middlesbrough game's crucial because, quite frankly, we were on a horrific run.
Yeah,
going into that.
And sorry to interrupt you there, but they were so close to us with only 1 goal difference between the two teams at that point, and you kind of knock them back. Pulis' first game in charge, and he suffers a bit of a setback. Middlesbrough on a 2-game winning streak, if you like. That's cut dead, and Villa on a winless run in December. Actually, when on the face of it, I mean, it wasn't a great December, but you take into the 1st of January, and actually, it doesn't look too bad anymore. Well, and we'll come on to the league position and all that kind of carry on, and actually, we're looking pretty healthy.
Yeah, and considering the squad's got a lot of players missing as well, I mean, the bench is full of kids, which can sometimes be a good thing, and people obviously have been advocating that they want to see people like O'Hare, Hepburn, Murphy on the bench. But Middlesbrough are on a good run, as you say, and we've kind of knocked them down a little bit, got ourselves away from them. But the league is just absolutely crazy. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. I mean, Bristol City have now lost 2 in a row. So, I didn't like Steve Bruce's post-match after the game. I didn't like his wording. But I think what he's saying is that every team will have the kind of run that we've had in December at some point. And actually, if you look at our January and February games, there's a big chance for us to go on a run now and actually really challenge for second. And we're actually pretty close to second now.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Bruce comments, because I've got them here. I've got some of them here. He talks about the injured players that we're missing, which we've both talked about quite a lot over the last few weeks. And I think is a genuine reason for him to kind of take solace from a disappointing December. But he also said, I hope it shuts a few people up again, as it's become very annoying when we're always just 1 week away from a crisis. We have to get on with the job in hand. Kind of dismissive of the fans a little bit there.
The thing is, it's not clear who he's aiming that at. Is he aiming it at the press? Although the local press are very supportive of him. Yeah. But is he aiming that at the press, or is he aiming it at the fans? To me, he's probably aiming it at the fans, but it's not clear. And even if he's not aiming it at the fans are going to take it that he's aiming it at them. I get what he's trying to say, because he has taken stick, and if you could see when he walked off against Brentford, he was getting dog's abuse from the Villa crowd. So fair enough, he wants to fight back, and he's got every right to fight back. But there's also a big group of fans that haven't been giving him abuse, so it brings an us against them kind of mentality, which I don't really like.
That's exactly it. That's exactly what I was going to say there. He feels like he's been backed into a corner a little bit, and rightly or wrongly, whether he has or not, he needs to rise above that, because the unity of the club is the most important thing, and he is at the focal point of that. If he starts taking little pot shots and it becomes a bit of a tete-a-tete between the management and the fan base, that's never going to end well, and the club is the one that's going to suffer there.
And the fans have got so many ways now to voice criticisms, and again, that's something that will probably annoy Bruce. When we do lose a game, it is all over social media that he's a clown or whatever, not very nice things about him, and that would get my back up, I suppose, if I was a football manager as well and I thought I was doing a good job, and he obviously thinks he is doing a good job. And to be honest, you look at the table now, not even a week on from our last negative podcast, and it does seem stupid to have been moaning now, because we are so close to second place, so it does fit. I get what he's trying to say, I just don't like the way he's worded it.
He has to, as the manager there, and I know a few people were calling for you to be the manager after last week's podcast.
I've had no praise for us winning games, so I don't know why I'm getting stuff when we're losing.
But he does have to be. It's kind of like like a school teacher or whatever. You can have all the kids shouting stuff at you and do that. You can't rise to it. That's kind of the point, and that's a kind of pathetic analogy a little bit, because
you are pathetic.
The fans aren't school kids.
Well, some of them are.
Some of them are, yeah. But they have their right to voice their opinions. That's up to you. You do what you want. If you pay your money, you support the team, you do all that kind of stuff. But the same, I just want to go back to the point that we're all one team, and I think it was really evident on New Year's Day that once everything kind of starts to click, this is an amazing group of a brilliant group of players that can.
I like the way you didn't like your use of the word amazing there, and then change it to brilliant, which is exactly the same thing.
But, okay, so in the Championship, it's one of the top groups of players that in the league, and we're starting to see that, and we'll come on to it again. But
they're amazing and brilliant.
They are amazing and brilliant, and they're coming back as well. The best players are also coming back, and we could see a 2018 that's really, really successful.
Yeah, I'm hoping 2018 is going to be our year. Obviously, it's got off to as good a start as we could have asked for. I mean, I never dreamed yesterday after 20 minutes that we would win 5-0, because quite frankly, first 20 minutes we couldn't pass wind.
Yeah,
it was awful. I was saying to my dad, we look absolutely terribly, and then suddenly something just changed. Obviously, we scored out of probably a little bit against the run of play, and then we just ran riot. We were so clinical. I think we only had 6 shots on target, and we've scored 5 goals. And there were we'll come on to it, some really, really good performances from Villa players and players that have got a point to prove. Tommy Elphic's come in the last 2 games. That was another thing I didn't like from Bruce, actually, post Middlesbrough. He basically admitted he wasn't going to play Tommy Elphick, which I found strange, because that sounds like it was one of the main reasons why we won. I wouldn't have wanted to see Jedinak back in defence, because he's not comfortable there. We've seen he's not comfortable there.
Yeah, so if you missed this, or it's been such a long week since you looked at it, it was Glenn Whelan that was ill, wasn't it? Immediately prior to the game, with a couple of other guys, actually.
Davis was one.
Yeah, and was it Neil Taylor as well?
I think he was just rested, Taylor.
Right, okay. But anyway, Whelan was slated to start, which would have meant probably Jedinak centre-back.
That's what he says. Yeah, Bruce said that.
And Elphick on the bench, which seems a little bit unfair, considering he played all right against Brentford.
Yeah, and he's an actual centre-back.
And we'll come on to it, but he's had a couple of great games. One person I did want to talk to you about in the Middlesbrough game, Albert Adoma. We didn't think he was going to play with his dead leg situation. He did.
Yep.
Former Borough player, set up the goal for Snodgrass, and he continues to be talismanic for Villa at the moment.
He's suddenly getting a lot of assists off his left foot.
Yeah,
he got one yesterday, didn't he? I think he put in the second cross as well on his left foot that we scored from. He's having a really, really good season. I mean, I asked Ian Taylor yesterday who was his player of 2017 for Villa. I don't know whether you watched it. He took an age to decide and then didn't actually decide. But Adoma's got to be up there as a shout. He had a semi-decent end to the season. I remember Matt Lynch did a video on him at one point in 2017, early 2017, saying how vital and important he is, and then he promptly went on to have a few bad games, as is the way with these things. But he started the season out of the team, and he's fought his way back in, and is an example to every player at Villa that when they find themselves out of the team, that things can change very, very fast. And he's done everything right, and he is a talisman, really, this season. If Codger was our talisman last season, then it's fair to say Adoma's been our talisman this campaign so far.
Yeah, I would say that I only saw the end of your Facebook Live. I came in for the Taylor teaser. I was screaming at the computer. I thought that was an easy one.
Oh, I thought so as well, but he does struggle with knowledge about his own career. He does struggle with that.
It's tough.
He admits that himself.
Do you want a little Middlesbrough-based fact?
Go on then, Tom.
Tony Pulis can take solace from this one. No Middlesbrough manager since Brian Robson in 1994 has won their first game in charge.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting tidbit. Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go.
I mean, I'm never going to use that anywhere, I wouldn't have thought.
Well, you might do.
Unless next time they get a new manager, Villa happens to be their first game. That'll be the only time I ever use that.
And then you'll remember.
I will remember.
Should we move on to the Bristol City game?
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we missed anything from the middle. They're kind of... The two wins kind of blur into one now, because obviously we're talking about positive things.
Yeah.
But yesterday's fresh in the mind because I was there.
Yeah, I've got literally here game not too much to write home about. Like I watched the highlights and I read a few reviews of the game, and it seemed like a fairly drab affair. Not too many tests for Johnston or Darren Randolph.
Rudolph still in Christmas mode.
George Somerville coming back to haunt me. Darren Randolph. I've even got it written down.
Darren Rudolph.
I feel quite giddy being in
that's
here
wrong.
today.
It's because we won 2 games. We've won 5-0.
I think it's a complete turnaround from last week. You're smiling.
I am. Wasn't smiling last week.
I've got Rudolph on the brain.
You're not prepared to let Christmas go, are you?
Tough day at work today.
It's a slog being back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolute slog.
First day back at work for certainly myself. You've had a few days, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I can't really class those as days, if I'm being honest.
You'll bill for them.
Yeah.
But tough day. But good to be back. Good for wins. Let's talk about Aston Villa 5, Bristol City 0. Come on, talk me through it. Talk me through your day yesterday. Talk me through the emotions.
I predicted us to win, but it was more in hope than anticipation, to be honest. I mean, I predicted us to lose to Middlesbrough again because I just didn't think we were capable of anything. I was happy with the team lineup. Yesterday, I liked the look of the team. I agreed with him keeping it pretty much the same. Obviously, he had to replace Onoma for Grealish, and I'm sure I'll come on to wax lyrical about Grealish in a few minutes. I was happy with the team selection. I thought it was going to be a really, really tough game, and Bristol started well. They were all over us, to be honest. We couldn't get the ball off them. When we did have the ball, we couldn't keep it. Yeah. And then the first chance we created, we scored, and from then on we just took off. It was a real statement victory, I thought, because they're no mugs that we've beat yesterday. They beat Man U a few weeks ago, strong Man U side, and I think they'd maybe took a knock. The Wolves game had knocked the confidence a little bit. They obviously had their sub keeper, and as I've said, we had 6 shots on target and 5 went in. So he hasn't had a great day. Not that I think he was at fault for too many of the goals.
I was going to say that a couple of them were.
The second one, I felt he saved it in a strange way.
He'd already gone too far, hadn't he? Yeah. With his dive. Let's go back to the first goal a second. Hogan's first of the campaign.
Chuffed.
And a very smart header from him too.
He's a good player. I keep saying it, and I've been banging the Hogan drum all season, saying he is a good player, and if he gets the service, he'll score goals. And he got the service yesterday, and he scored one. Was involved in the second. It'll just do him the world of good to finally have scored a goal. It's his first goal at Villa Park in the league as well. He's been here nearly a year, although he's not played as much as he'd like. But you could just see it made a massive difference to him as soon as he put the ball in the back of the net. He always looks a bit quiet to me on the pitch, but after he'd scored the goal, he was pointing, telling people where to go, telling people what he wanted. So you could just see that it automatically given him that lift off that he's needed. And then he's nearly scored again for the second goal.
And sorry, go on.
No, I wasn't really going to.
You just carried on.
Say anything.
Did you watch his post-match?
I haven't watched it, but I've heard it. I've heard about it.
Yeah, I thought he handled himself. He's handled himself with grace and said it's great to score. Obviously, he puts it on himself that he hasn't scored enough. He's kind of thankful for the chance. Obviously, Kim Davis falling ill has given him a bit more of a run in the team, and he said that was really important to him, and important to all strikers. You know that a run in the team is where you build your confidence.
We've said that he just needs that run of games to know he's going to start. I mean, I'd probably start him next week against Peterborough now, just to try and keep the goals flowing. I mean, I can't remember if I said it in the podcast or not. I think I did. I'd heard that Steve Agnew had been doing some close work with him, and it looks like Steve Agnew's made a big difference to the whole side because we played in a fluid manner that I've not seen us playing too many times this season. But apparently Hogan had been training really well with Agnew, and he's starting to enjoy himself. You can imagine he's not scoring goals, he's not getting the game time, he probably wasn't enjoying himself, but if he's enjoying himself on the training pitch, so I've heard, he's taken that into the game.
And do you think now he's kind of made himself first choice striker again? Keenan Davis will now be looking to get his chance again, or do you think there is going to be more? Because it's so hard with the centre forward to have a rotational policy, because they need the confidence and they need the games. What do you think is Bruce's thinking now?
I mean, Hogan's got the shirt for now. We've said it before. If you're doing well, you deserve to keep the shirt, like Davis did when he was doing well, when he came into the side, and he kept Hogan out the side because he was doing well. He's gone off the boil slightly, but he's a young kid, and I would expect that from where he's come from as well, that he's not going to play well every week. So he'll now have to earn his place back or wait for an injury. I mean, to be honest, Hogan's injury record isn't great. So you might, I mean, touch wood he doesn't, but you might have to wait long for an opportunity. But Hepburn Murphy has looked lively in his 2 cameos as well. I like the look of him. He's got a bit of something about him, Hepburn Murphy. A bit of arrogance. I think you can tell he believes in himself and he likes himself, and I quite like that sometimes.
Yeah, I've got that written down. Good to see Hepburn Murphy in consecutive appearances. Well, let's move on to the next goals then. Obviously, Snodgrass got a couple more, 3 and 2, which is great for him, because we've again talked about. I've said before, Snodgrass is a real confidence player, I think, and when he's playing well, he's almost unplayable.
Yeah.
And then he'll drift out of games and not be as important. But you'll notice that about him, and I think that's where he draws some criticism. Is that sometimes he can't be as influential, and you notice him missing. I think that's a real compliment about his play.
It's sometimes hard on the wings. I mean, I keep plugging the Facebook Live with the entire, but we were talking about this yesterday. Sometimes if you're playing on the opposite side to what your foot is, you sometimes have to take that extra touch that slows play down, and it's sometimes harder to move things as quickly as you want. But then again, he wants to play right midfield and cut in, because that's it. That's what he's comfortable doing. But I don't get the criticism that Snodgrass has had. Like, I've defended Whelan this season, but then on the other hand, I can get what people are saying about that. I don't get the criticism of Snodgrass at all, because even when he's having a bad game, he never hides. He always wants the ball, and he always contributes. He always makes at least 1 or 2 things happen in the football match. And to me, I mean, you saw yesterday, he's too good for the Championship. He's an elite player in the Championship for me, and someone I'm really glad that we've got. He's always talking as well. I mean, him and El Mohammadi were having an argument with each other about something all the way through the game. They were constantly at each other. Obviously, they know each other well, having played together at Hull. But he's just a really, really top player. I mean, he's followed up for the second. I don't think he was, but at the time I thought he had to be offside, because he seemed so close to the ball and everyone else seemed so far away. But his 3rd goal, and again we'll come on to Jack Grealish, because obviously he made a big contribution for that goal. But he's just got that nous to take that extra touch. Plenty of players would have just hit that first time as soon as they got the ball, but he took the extra touch, committed the defender, and he just slotted it in the near post. And that's composure that comes with someone of his experience and his know-how, and he's a really good player, and he's going to be key in the second half of the season.
Is he out of contract in the summer?
Nah, because he's only recently joined West Ham, hasn't he?
So what are they going to do? Because I mean,
they'll just sell him.
So
there's no going back there.
How much do you think he would command in the transfer window in summer? I'm talking.
He's coming up to 30, isn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe anything between 7 and 10 mil, maybe.
Do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to have him on board. If we go up, we'll sign him, no doubt. Especially if Bruce is here, as I think he will be.
Well, certainly if we go up.
We'll sign Snodgrass, no doubt. He's a player Bruce knows well. He trusts him. He likes him. He's had him at 2 clubs now, so if we can get him, we'll try.
Yeah. And one player that drew special adulation really was Jack Grealish. Phenomenal yesterday, and really showed why you'd been harping on about it, but showed the quality that we've seen maybe before that injury in pre-season, but also when he first burst on the scene, when England and Ireland were arguing over who would sign him. But we really saw that quality again from Jack.
That was his best game he's had since the semi-final against Liverpool. He was absolutely unplayable yesterday. They couldn't live with him. I mean, I've been reading stuff today about him. Seems to have bulked up a little bit. Apparently he's been doing some work with Ollie Stevenson, one of the fitness guys at Bodymoor Heath, and he's done some great work with him, because he looks strong, and he's always had massive legs, always looked like a beast from that front, but he looks like he's bulked up on top a bit now. He was just absolutely magnificent yesterday. He ran the show. I mean, he made a little incisive pass for Hogan's first goal. It was him that played it to a dome, and it was a really nice pass. And I think he put in his best form for Villa under Tim Sherwood in that half a season when Tim Sherwood was there before we went to pieces. He had good players around him, and I think he had the right mix of people around him yesterday. Horahan likes to release the ball quickly, but then they've got Jedinak behind them, giving them the right amount of protection. Snodgrass was heavily involved, so he can cut in from the right and get involved. It was all, I felt in the first half he was playing like a central midfielder. It was almost like Jedinak was playing in front of the back four, and then Grealish and Horahan were central midfielders. And in the second half, it felt more like he was a number 10. But I just think Jedinak offered a lot of protection. It was my dad was saying this. It's good to see Jedinak was back to the Jedinak of last season in midfield, absolutely dominating games and breaking things up, and he gave the rest of the midfield a freedom I don't think they've had throughout the month of December. And playing without with the shackles off, all of them were good, but Grealish absolutely ran the show and was the standout performer.
What do you think that is? Do you think that's Jedinak just regaining that match fitness that maybe he's been missing?
Yeah, when he first came back, I think he came back against Middlesbrough 0-0 at home. He looked so far off the pace. Then he's come back in and been playing centre back when he's probably not match fit, which isn't ideal. He's probably gained his match fitness now, and Whelan will find it difficult. Well, should find it difficult to get back into that midfield now, because that midfield looked like the right balance to me.
Presumably, Whelan will play against Peterborough.
Maybe.
And then give Jedinak a rest, because
I wouldn't play Jedinak in that game.
Exactly.
Wouldn't play Chester. There's people that you can't afford to lose, and I wouldn't play either of them. Chester's someone that goes under the radar because he just plays well every week. And he made a lovely little back heel for the second goal.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
he's unbelievable every week.
What was he doing
every
there?
week? I think we'd just had a set piece or something, but he plays well every week. There were so many good performances yesterday, but Grealish was the absolute standout performer, and I think that I think sometimes he doesn't actually realise how good he is and how scared teams are of him. I mean, Bristol City played a bit more expansively yesterday. At Villa Park, usually teams come and they sit back, and that's when we struggle. But Bristol City came and had a go yesterday, but it was just an absolute joy to watch. I mean, I've always supported him, always said what a good player he is, and I think there's some people that don't like him a lot, like me, do like him and know that he's capable of these performances. But he's playing in his proper position now, Grealish. He's playing in the middle, where he can make things happen, and he had movement in front of him in Hogan, he had movement around him in Snodgrass, Horahan and Adoma, and I do think a lot of that is down to the Jedinak protection.
Well, hopefully we'll see more of that this game breeds the confidence that Grealish needs to kind of really kick on and take the league by storm and be one of those centre midfielders that the whole of the league looks at and just goes, yeah, he's the guy that you need to watch. He's the one. What did you make of Bristol City? Because they had a few chances whilst the game was still close. What did you make of them as a team?
It's difficult to tell, because obviously they've lost 5-0, so it's not obviously their best day, but they're a good side clearly, because they've been in the mix all season. I think there were some moments where the game could have been different, like the first 20 minutes, for example. Bristol were probably the better side. Then we've gone 2-0 up from nowhere and played really well, ended the first half really well. But the start of the second half, they had a couple of really good chances. They stuck Flint, the centre-back, up front, and I think two of them got in each other's way a couple of times. I think Chester made a big clearance as well. So the game, if we'd have gone to 2-1, obviously the nerves would have settled in, and then we got the third goal at a critical time, and even Villa don't throw away 3-goal leads too often. So you knew we were comfortable, and we've gone on to score 4 and 5. I mean, I don't know whether you heard Lee Johnson after the game.
Yeah.
If you've lost 5-0, I don't think you can have too many complaints. Yeah. Have you got his stuff down there?
Yeah, I've got a few bits and pieces. So yeah, if you missed it, Lee Johnson said that he was getting stick, and he kind of tried to fight back a little bit, didn't he? And said, we'll see where we are at the end of the season. I think that's an interesting gauntlet to throw down that.
Well, like he says, they are ahead of us, but they got well beaten yesterday.
Yeah, and they lost a close game to Wolves on the 30th when we beat Middlesbrough as well. So they actually dropped down to 4th in the league, only 3 points ahead of Villa now, and it all becomes a lot closer. Obviously, Wolves are still runaway leaders. They're still in great form.
They're gone. It's boring, isn't it? Really, Man City are running away with the Premier League, and Wolves are running away with the Championship.
Yeah,
but that's where the money. Both teams. That's where the money is.
It doesn't take long to draw those conclusions, does it? So Derby move into second place. They obviously beat Villa last month. They're on 49. And then Cardiff and Bristol City both on 47, with Villa in fifth on 44, and Leeds United just 1 point behind in 43. That makes up the playoffs as we stand. Sheffield United, Middlesbrough and Preston all sniffing around there as well.
I mean, when we were just about to play Derby, we said they'd come from nowhere to be in the top six, and now they're second. So quite easily at the end of January or February, we could be talking about Villa being second, and then we'll all be looking back and thinking, "Oh, what were we going on about? What were we worried about in December?" And I think that is what Bruce is trying to say. I mean, he isn't going to be, unless we were to fall dramatically out of touch with sixth. Bruce isn't going to go anywhere this season. Now we're in 2018. I think it would be silly to change the manager unless it went to absolute pieces. At some point, we will have another bad run. I don't like the use of the word mass hysteria and all that, but we've got to be careful not to lose it too much. And this is why when I get stick, it annoys me a little bit, because I try and remain balanced, because I know that things can change in this league really, really quickly, and December wasn't good enough. But there's a way we should be going about things, and one of the frustrations for the fans will be they'll have seen yesterday, and we've won 5-0 against a really, really good side, and they'll say, "Why don't the shackles come off more often?" And I think that's fair, and hopefully they will now. But Hogan was talking as if it was new ideas. That implied to me that Agnew's coming in with some new ideas on pressing and stuff. I mean, we haven't talked about the other two goals.
Yeah.
We stopped at 3 for some reason.
You're
leading the show here.
I don't mind going back. It was just a natural break to talk about the division.
But it was nice to see Horahan pop up for the fifth, because I think, because we've not been playing that expansively, he's not been able to get forward and do what he wants to do. But actually, his defensive game, I think, has been so good this season. I think he's done so. I mean, to be honest, if you're playing next to Whelan and Jedinak as well, you're going to have to do some extra running as a central midfielder, because they don't have the legs that they used to have. And he puts a shift in more than anyone every week, Horahan, for me. So it's nice to see him pop up and get back up on the score sheet. And he had a good game, and he made the pass to Adoma in the Middlesbrough game as well. So we've got to get these incisive players that we've got making those key passes, because they'll make things happen. People like Horahan, Snodgrass and Grealish and Adoma. The
creative players. Yeah. Just being, like you say, expansive. I think that's important to touch on with Hogan's interview as well. He actually talked about being allowed to play with pace and with freedom, and he said about how the Championship was an attacking league and a fast league, and the faster you play, the more chances you create. Is it worth talking about Bjarnason? Did you see anything from him?
Yeah, he did well.
Yeah.
It's quite surprised to see him come on. You almost forget about him sometimes, because he's not really made an impact at all since he's come in. But he looked, again, he scored, and then he was suddenly trying all these flicks and stuff, and they were coming off, whereas probably last time he was on the pitch, he tried a flick, it doesn't come off.
Yeah.
But he must be a good player. Iceland are a good team, a good unit, and we've suddenly got some options on that left-hand side now, because he'll start on Saturday against Peterborough now. I mean, he scored in one of our other cup games this season, I think it was Wigan. So he'll get a start, and he looked full of confidence when he came on, and he's one that I think can turn around and say, "I've not had a fair crack."
Do you think?
He's not had a fair crack.
I think the games that we saw from him earlier in the season, he didn't show enough to warrant a starting place.
But it takes I've always thought a player needs a proper pre-season.
Fine.
So you can write off last season. When he did play last season, he was shoved at left wing back, then he was on the bench, then he was central mid, then he was right mid. He was all over the place.
Yeah,
he's a left midfielder.
There's only 11 positions in the team, and how long do you give a player a chance when he's missed a few? Like at Reading, for example, he was really bad.
Well, weren't they all bad that night?
They were, yeah, but he didn't cover himself in glory in any time before that, and it's a hard one, because you've got a competitive squad. I just don't.
Well, we've got too many players, but to be honest, we've got so many injuries that now actually have we got too many players?
Well, no, I don't think we do. But I don't think Bjarnason has really warranted a place in this. I know what you're saying, and you look at someone like Jordan Veretout, who we definitely didn't see the best of last season. And
but he got the season before. But he got chances. He played a lot of games for us. Has Bjarnason Has he even played 3 games in a row since he's been here? Has he ever played 90 minutes? You're not going to see the best of someone in those circumstances.
Where are you going to start him?
I'm not saying we're going to start him, and I can kind of understand why he hasn't been in, but I don't think you can criticise him too much in those circumstances. That's what I'm saying. I understand why he hasn't played, but then I don't think people could turn around and say he's a bad player.
I didn't say that.
We haven't seen enough of him.
Yeah, you need to force your way into some of these games. And for me, when he has had his chance, he just hasn't done enough.
Well, arguably, then he's come in yesterday and he's done enough to get a chance.
Well, he scored.
Yeah,
but he scored in a great team performance there.
Yeah, but he's only just come on the pitch. It's a nice finish.
But next league game, you're not going to take anyone out.
Well, obviously Adoma's playing there at the moment, but maybe he could be more involved from the bench because he hasn't really even been coming on.
It's a fair point.
Because sometimes we bring Delat on and he ends up playing on the wing and stuff.
Oh yeah,
El Mohammadi up front, so we make our fair share of pointless substitutions.
We've had some questionable tactical decisions.
Subs were good yesterday. Yeah. O'Hare looked lively when he came on as well. Yeah. I mean, he'll start. I'm really looking forward to Saturday now. Actually, I'm looking forward to seeing Hepburn, Murphy, O'Hare, Beyond some people with something to prove who'll maybe get their first goals, things like that. I'm looking forward to it.
So that actually brings me on to some transfer talk. If you're done with the Bristol City game, unless you've got anything else
I could talk about it for hours because when was the last time I went to Villa Park and
We're already at 30 minutes.
Enjoyed a night like that. Unreal scenes.
Yeah, a great.
Did you see the pyro before the game?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, we're going to get that going I was taking the mick out of it a little bit before the game when it was going on, but get it there every week if we win 5-0.
Actually, something I wanted to talk about was after the game. I don't know if you stuck around. John Terry, Lansbury, I
don't stick around to watch the play.
And Andre Green. Well, you get there an hour and a half before the game
because of my dad. There's nothing to do. Well, I have to get there even earlier now.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's my fault.
Yeah, but you used to get there way early before.
No, my dad likes to just sit there, doesn't he?
Well, I thought he might like to sit there
He likes to get away from my mum, get out of the house. He's retired now. They spend too much time together.
John Terry, Henry Lansbury and Andre Green came out after the win to do some fitness and some ball work, which is good. They spent about 30 minutes or so on the pitch. Three important players. Lansbury can be a very important player. We've just talked about Bjarnason not playing as much as some might like. I think a lot.
That's not down to injury. Lansbury's is down to injury.
Yeah. Would you let me finish my point?
Sorry, I thought it was a...
You're getting quite excited now. Now we've had a couple of wins. You're jumping in. Lansbury it has been injury, but again, you've got to fit him into this system somewhere, and when the team's playing so well. But it's good to have these three options and these three guys coming back. It just kind of expands this already decent squad.
I mean, to me, you don't change the team.
No.
Obviously, we will on Saturday, Peterborough.
Yeah.
But that next league game, you have the same team. You don't change that. That's a good time. But there's this weird thing where he doesn't always look comfortable there. But when Alan Hutton plays left back, we seem to do better.
Yeah. I
don't know what it is. We just seem to do better with him there. What are you getting your pen out for?
Well, because we've got fixtures to predict.
Okay. Yeah, I think we've lost one game with Hudson at left back. I think we lost to Sheffield Wednesday with him there, and that might not be factually true. I've just plucked that from the top of my head. But to my knowledge, we've only lost one game with him at left back. There just seems to be something weird and wonderful about him being there.
Yeah, he was in that period where we weren't losing, wasn't he?
Yeah, he got an assist yesterday.
Sheffield Wednesday.
I'm not convinced he was 100% looking for Bjarnason with that pass, but he found its way. He found its way there.
Yeah, he certainly did. But having said that, we've talked about rotation. We've talked about the players that we need. John Terry's going to be a huge... It's kind of unfortunate for Elphick, really.
I feel sorry for him because he's going to lose his place, isn't he, obviously, to John Terry. But if I was the manager, you don't change anything. They've kept 2 clean sheets, so you don't change it.
Yeah.
It's harsh. But John Terry would understand that, I think. And then obviously he'll get back in at some point. But the good thing is now, we felt like we needed to rush him back. I mean, I've been trying to get him in the team for weeks on one leg.
Yeah.
But now you kind of think, well, we don't need to rush him because we've kept 2 clean sheets and we look a lot more organised again. Elphick looks a different player to the Elphick I was watching last season.
Yeah.
I don't know what's changed, but he looks completely different. He used to have rash moments, but he doesn't seem to have had them.
Maybe it's the Terry effect. Maybe he's learned from... I don't want to...
I mean, he's 30 odd, isn't he, Elphick?
I don't want to feed Terry false praise, but you could learn a lot from a Champions League winner.
Obviously you can, yeah, but it's just weird. Everything seems to just fall into place through getting injuries for me. They seem to have made the team end up better. That midfield especially had a lovely balance to it. You cannot change that now.
Is there any danger of us getting overexcited at this point? Like 2 great results, sure, or one certainly great result, one huge result, really. The Middlesbrough win was massive.
Yeah.
Is there a danger that now we get too excited, and we're going to go through the fixture list in a minute and predict all wins, and then we have a shaky January?
Well, January and February, you look through it, and now we've won a couple of games. You do think there's nothing there that should really worry us. I mean, I think we looked at the December fixtures and there was a few games that worried us even before we'd hit this bad run. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. What was the question?
Should there be an air of calm? You know, we're getting all giddy, but is there a danger that we get too excited and January actually falls on its face?
I think that's what Bruce is trying to say, that you shouldn't get too high with the highs and you shouldn't get too low with the lows. It's a long season. Let's see where we end up. I mean, part of me thinks that he should just wait till the end of the season, and if we do go up, just say, there you go, I told you so. Don't say anything now. Just wait till the end of the season, and if you've got that much confidence in yourself, as he seems to, then just wait till the end of the season and say, I told you so.
Yeah. All right, let's look at January then. We'll ignore the Peterborough game.
And we'll give ourselves the free 3 points for the Bristol City game.
Yeah, we definitely predicted rousing wins there, I'm sure, last season.
Yeah.
My notes kind of fall down when we go back and look at the previous months, because I haven't done that.
No, I can't remember what points I predicted.
I knew about 10.
No.
Oh, I think you were.
No. I definitely predicted Millwall to be a draw.
I think, I don't know. Maybe I was a 10.
I had Villa to. I think I had us to win at Middlesbrough as well. We'll have to go back and have a look next week.
We're definitely not going to do that.
No, we will.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure
someone will know.
I'm sure I challenged Rolo to give us a fancy little graphic, and I don't think that ever happened.
He's got his new puppy now, Stanley.
That's true.
Congratulations, Rolo, on becoming a daddy to a dog. Obviously, I know what it's like to become a daddy to pets this year or last year.
Somebody in the New Year's resolution comment said that you should talk less about your rabbits.
Well, when they're coming and chewing my mic mid-video, I don't know whether you saw the match preview. Tom, you did not watch the match. But you don't watch the Villa View, the channel that you're representing.
I've been very busy, and after my last match preview,
haven't been at work.
No, but I've got things to do.
I think you can spare 10 minutes for a match preview.
What I was going to say is Stanley or Stanley.
What dot? Stanley. Stanley Victor Collymore.
All right. Okay.
Not Stanley, the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Creator?
Stanley? Yeah.
Is Stanley the Spider-Man creator?
I don't know. I was thinking Bruce Lee anyway.
God.
Right, let's move on.
Yeah, the rabbit chewed my microphone whilst I was recording, so I had no microphone for the rest of the video.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Little scamp.
Right, yeah, maybe you should... Why wasn't he in his cage?
I don't need to cage them when I'm in the room, Tom.
You're
obviously I do need to cage them, actually.
Right, okay, let's move on. Right, Nottingham Forest v Aston Villa, a tea-time kick-off on Saturday the 13th of January. What are you saying?
Annoying that they'll have a new manager in by then.
Always the way, isn't it, at the moment?
It does always happen to Villa, and I bet you by the time we play Birmingham in February, but they've got another new manager. I'll go for win.
I'm not sure what's done there. Okay.
I can tell you what you've done. You put a T down for Tom, and a D down for Daniel, and then you're going to put...
What I should have done is done down here. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go for a draw there, a spirited 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying that we've got this FA Cup game.
I said that to my dad yesterday. I said, you want to just keep getting league games while you're playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, after the Brentford game, that would have been an ideal game for us, but it's not ideal now.
No, not so good. All right, Aston Villa then.
You said draw.
Yeah, I've said draw.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Spirited draw, I said.
Spirited draw.
Yeah. Okay, the following week we've got Barnsley at home.
Win,
yeah.
I think they're a bit of a different animal to what they were last season when they beat us Barnsley. They've not quite been as effective this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a win as well. I think that's the game that we shouldn't have any problems in that game.
No.
Famous last words. Sheffield United away. That's on the 27th. It's actually quite a short month. It's only 3 league games.
I'm going to be coy and predict a loss.
Right. Go on.
Really, I want to say draw, but...
Okay. I'm going to go for a win. I mean, Sheffield United have to pick up. They've not been in the best form either.
Where are they now?
At the moment. They've just slipped out. I think they're 7th. In fact, they are definitely 7th.
It's different being a Sheffield United than it is to being a Villa, though, because there's no expectation of them finishing top 6 start of the season. Have we had this discussion before?
Yeah, I agree. But at this point in the season, when you're sniffing around, I think there is an expectation. I think the expectation grows, and I think they'll definitely want to be there or thereabouts. All right, I'm going to go for...
I'm liking that start to February.
I'm going... Yeah, Burton and then Birmingham.
2 home games.
Both at home, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gone for 7 points, and you have gone for 6 points. All right.
But let me say, I wouldn't be chuffed with 6.
Right.
I want to. Can I change to a draw, Sheffield United?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll change to a draw. 7. 7 each.
All right, we're going 7 each, but different games.
Yeah.
All right, let us know in the comments section what you're predicting for the 3 games this month. Nottingham Forest away, Barnsley at home, and then Sheffield United away as well. Interesting month. Interesting little month, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, Peterborough, and we could have a...
Why does it feel so short? Is it just purely because of that FA Cup game?
Yeah, and there's no midweek games.
Ooh, but there's always midweek in the Championship.
Yeah.
Why have they got no midweek games in January, but yet they've crammed a ton of games into December?
It's a great point. One that should be taken to the...
I'll take it to the authorities, like Alan Pardew has. Do you say that?
No.
Alan Pardew's taken West Brom's fixture congestion to the higher powers and asked for their game to be postponed.
Fed up of people
this
doing
week.
that.
But he has got a point because they're playing West Ham this week, and West Ham have had a week without a game.
Really?
And West Brom have had 48 hours.
That
It's unfair.
Often happens for Champions League teams as well, though, doesn't it? Where they play... I mean, they play...
Not
a lot
like that,
more
though.
games.
A week compared to 48 hours is over a busy period anyway. That's not great. I do see where Pardew's coming from. I mean, I don't really like Pardew. I don't really like West Brom.
Yeah.
But I can get their point.
A little bit annoying that the Bristol City game, which had to be at 5:30 to have 48 hours or whatever to play, couldn't have been put on telly. That was annoying.
Yeah, I guess so.
Annoying for me.
Well, yeah, the 5:30 kickoff was quite annoying. To be honest, it delayed me getting back. Obviously, I get back to London late. Got work the next day, so it's not great. But obviously, we know why it happened now.
Yeah. All right. A little bit of transfer speculation. So Sam Johnston linked with a move. I think this was in the Daily Express and maybe a couple of other places. Sam Johnston linked with a move to West Brom. Steve Bruce has come out and rubbished the reports. He said he spoke to Jose Mourinho a couple of days ago and apparently never mentioned it.
What did they speak about? Why did they speak? Because he wouldn't have rang just for that.
Yeah, pals.
Do you reckon he just rang? So Jose, how are you?
Are you coming out tonight?
But inside, he was only ringing because he wanted to find out about Sam Johnston. But he would have felt that like he had to make some small talk
it must
first.
Be like, are they friends? Are they just ringing up? Because I don't even, with all due respect to my friends, I don't really ring them up anymore.
I don't ring anyone. It's all text, isn't it?
WhatsApps and GIFs.
It's different age though, aren't it? I imagine Bruce, especially a traditionalist. Yeah. I bet he doesn't mess around with text.
Has one of those phones that you have to spin the dial around to get it up.
No.
Hello, operator.
Yeah, he would. He's more of that kind of guy, isn't he? Bruce,
okay, so anyway, that one's been rubbished by Bruce.
So you've crossed it out now?
I've crossed that one out. We've talked about that. On transfers generally, Bruce said we've got 1 or 2 things bubbling, but we have nothing lined up. With loans, I don't really think anything will happen until the end of January. There's talk of Pochettino calling back Onuma, so that may change things. And Bruce said, I've got young ones. The future of the club belongs to them. We've got some excellent young players. He lists O'Hare, Hepburn, Murphy and Green, who he said will all play on Saturday. And obviously Keenan Davis, who's
good
already
to see
around.
Green back.
Yeah, great. And
next league game, the bench is going to be interesting.
Well, we saw that against Middlesbrough. It's quite a young bench, I think.
No, but I mean, if everyone's come back...
Oh, yeah.
There's going to be some good players not even on the bench. You know, like Adoma wasn't on the bench at the start of the season when everyone was fit.
Well, yeah, well, this is what I'm talking about, isn't it? With players like Bjarnason and Lansbury, it's hard to even get on the bench when everyone's coming back.
I don't think we need to buy anyone.
Agreed.
Now Hogan scored. What would he think now if we bought in a striker? It wouldn't be a glowing reference to him.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes sense, but we'll gloss over that, a glowing reference.
Yeah,
no, it does make sense. It does make sense. In my head, it didn't. We've got Hepburn Murphy. We've already got Gabby there when he's fit, which isn't very often. As well, Keenan Davis, Codger to come back next season. I don't think we need a striker. We just need to play in that manner that we played the other day. So we've got Chris Samba that can play there.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought that was funny yesterday, actually, because no one really said anything about Bristol City being archaic for chucking their defender up front. So obviously other teams do it as well. It wasn't just us with Samba.
It was quite early Samba. As well, wasn't
half-time.
It? Yeah.
Bang on half-time. He'd come out. I mean, he's got a good goal-scoring record, actually, this season and last season. Flint is quite potent. Reminds me of Matt Elliott, the old Leicester defender, come striker.
Dion Dublin,
yeah, he did that as well. Make sure to comment with all your favourite memories of people that play in defence. Chris Sutton, defence and attack. I can't think of any more. That's it now.
Well, yeah. Strange. Right, let's move on to, you get the Twitter bits and pieces out.
You've had enough of that, have you?
Yeah, well, we're at 45 minutes already.
But we won time. Let's stay here all day.
What am I going to do?
I think it's a good time for the competition because I was about to mention your lateness.
Were you?
Yeah, I was about to say, you're saying at the time now we've done 45 minutes, but we should have been finished by now.
Well, yeah, not really my fault. Southwestern Trains let me down a little bit today. I don't really know what happened. My train was cancelled.
And I did want to bring this up as well.
I don't know what I got that out.
Oh, yeah, that's reminding me. Tom's picture today when he's arrived. People are about not getting too high with the wins and too low with the lows. Look at this smug face after we've won 5-0. I don't think you can see that, but I'm struggling to get that right. He looks so smug. He's tilted his head with his pass. That's cockiness because of the win.
Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah. Oh, you wouldn't have been like that last week, would you, when we did the podcast?
No, I certainly wasn't. I think you've got the one that I looked at last week.
I'm not going to do that to you. Get that other one out.
I look very disappointed.
The jowly Tom Julian.
Right, so last week we had a competition to win Darius Vassell's book. Signed book.
That's the key information there.
Yeah. The Road to Persia.
I remembered.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, the competition was to set me and Dan a couple of New Year's resolutions that we may or may not stick to, and so we had a bunch of comments. I think we had 100 comments on last.
I don't think we had 100.
They weren't New Year's resolutions, but it was quite nice to see 100 comments. Yeah, it's quite nice.
I'm going to say I was going to let this run for another week, but Tom's called it and said that this one deserves to win.
Well, okay, yeah, I couldn't remember actually if we'd said that it was going to.
I didn't give a time frame.
Are you sure?
100% sure.
Right, okay.
I purposely didn't give a time frame.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You were waiting for the one.
Actually, I'm not 100% sure.
Right, okay.
Don't quote that. But we've got a winner. Yeah, Tom, you do the honours.
I've picked the winner. There was a lot of good entries, a lot of talking about your rabbits, a lot of talking about my timekeeping, but neither of those get into the winners, actually. So
I feel like this one's tugged on your heartstrings a little bit, and you fell for it.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, fair play to the guy.
Dean Caffrey is our winner. He says, great podcast again, despite the results. New Year's resolutions are as follows. One for Dan is to really lay down the law and not accept the Small Heath booth anymore. It's too small and not representative of the quality of this channel, and you need to let the owners of the booths know this.
The booth booking is purely down to Tom, really. Yeah. I've got no control.
And actually, it's not down to me. It's whatever's free. Usually we can secure this one, but every now and again, we are the lowest on the rung, aren't we?
Yeah.
So if it's not
the runts
free,
of the litter, so to speak.
Yeah, very much so. To use a rabbit term.
It's more a pet term.
Yeah, okay.
We're very pet-centric on this channel.
My New Year's resolution is to create a YouTube channel about the food you taste at events, functions and football grounds and give them all a rating, and if they were value for money or not. I promise to watch if you do this. Now, I would love to do that. I really would.
I don't think there's a demand for it, though.
There clearly is. Dean Caffrey wants it.
That's one person. I don't even think your mum would watch that.
She would.
No way.
She would.
I don't think she would.
One person that wouldn't watch it and would actually kill me if I started another YouTube channel is my wife.
Does she not be?
Well, not really.
Not with the NFL stuff as well. It's hard doing one channel, to be honest. So fair play to you for doing two.
It's very busy at the moment, especially with the playoffs around the corner. But we won't get into that because we don't have any time.
No.
You've done well to get the Twitter questions up.
I didn't do it in the end.
So well done to Dean Caffrey. Dan will be sending you the book.
Get in touch with me, Dean. Give me your address.
Yeah.
I don't think those socks have been sorted. That's not my fault.
Are you wearing them?
No, I'm not. But I did actually try and sort that. I'm not.
No, you're not.
I did actually try and sort that. That wasn't my fault. Like your trains are never your fault. This isn't my fault.
I mean, this is your fault.
No.
I have no.
I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying it's not my fault. I've tried.
Yeah, but you had the socks. I literally can't get the
forget the socks. I didn't have the socks at any point. They've been sent off by the company.
Oh, right.
I'll get onto them again because I'd forgotten about it. Jatinder, why do you think it's taken for certain players to get injured for Bruce to pick the team and get a result like that? Surely he should be able to pick a good team. Seems like he stumbles on to good results by accident. I get what you're saying, but I do think it's a bit harsh to say that too, because he does have to pick a lot of teams, and we've won a lot of games. So I don't think you can. I get that he has stumbled on a couple of things, but generally he has to pick a lot of teams, and we have won games.
It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? Because often we say that we like a stable team, and you'd like to have your set 11, and you know if you're playing well, why change the formula? And then when things don't go right, then you have to suddenly try and work out what your new best team is for the certain situation. I think if Bruce was changing it every week, he'd get the same amount of stick for doing that. So.
He's got to stick with this team now, though, as I've said.
Well, you certainly stick for it for the next game, but then if something needs changing again, there'll be new injuries, new suspensions, and that stuff will happen. That's just the way it is.
Claire Eccles 742 says, genuinely think I suffered with acute hysteria. To be honest, I think I did last night. I was very, very happy driving back to London late last night.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when you win, does it? I was giddy.
Yeah.
It's been used a few times, that word
today.
Matty versus the world. Can you please discuss Bruce and his reaction to mass hysteria and whether he's right to focus on that and dig fans out? Yeah, we've kind of already covered that. For Matty, Hoppo, Ben Hopkins, not speaking about chance for once.
The chant expert.
Yeah, he's not gone for the chance. He's asked which was the best goal last night, and our thoughts on the fringe players. We've discussed that. The best goal. I like the third goal.
The Snodgrass goal.
I just liked the extra touch and the fact that Grealish travelled the length of the pitch.
That's annoying. I was going to say that one. I also really liked Hogan's header. I thought that was class.
It was good. He's a very good header.
He did well to get to the ball for one and to angle it over. I thought it was a really nice header.
When you're used to scoring one goal a game, all goals are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
One
goal at best.
Jack Hurley's asked about Sam Johnston. We've already discussed that.
Dismissed it.
Joshua Leong, with our current injuries, what would you say is our strongest starting team and bench? The starting team we've got at the moment, regardless of injuries, you've got to keep.
Yeah, the only person
I would say
that you're going to bring in really is going to be John Terry, I would imagine, for the Nottingham Forest game.
Rob Henry, are we close to getting the team built around Jack? To have it built around him, for me, has to be in the middle. And that's where he's been playing, so that's a real positive thing to see. But he did talk about it at the start of the season, Bruce, and really showed him that should be something that we're doing yesterday.
Yeah. Do you think one game? I know he's played better since he's come back from injury, but obviously against Middlesbrough, Bruce preferred Onuma for one reason or another.
He had a hamstring knock, Grealish. Right. That was the reason.
So, I mean, do you think one game, one swallow makes a summer, as they say? Do you think now Grealish is, again, it's his position to lose, and that is now is the time where Bruce is going to start doing what he wanted to do in August and build that team around him, and he's now going to be the focal point.
I think we should do it anyway because he hasn't had a run in the middle in the Championship.
Yeah,
and that's.
But do you think Bruce will do it?
I think he's got to. The fans demand it. Another thing about Grealish, let me tell you, that man knows how to milk an applause. He waits till the end. He waits till everyone else has been up to the crowd, and then he comes running up on his own, blowing the kisses to the whole end. He knows how to milk an applause.
I like it. I like players that go up to the crowd and takes the time. You know, he could run down the changing room straight away, as Cristiano Ronaldo did once when I was at Real Madrid, and that annoyed me.
I thought you were talking like you were playing there. Well, no, when I was at Real Madrid.
Oh yeah. Me and Chris.
Yeah. Jacques Bennett. I don't know why I did the surname in a funny voice. Yeah. What would you both put our inconsistent patches of good/bad form down to?
Injuries, massively. I think injuries have been a real derailer. Losing your first choice centre back and then losing your second choice centre back, obviously not including Chester, but your first choice replacement, let's say. I think that's huge. Losing your centre forward. I think injuries are a massive reason. I don't think they're the only reason. I don't think they're the only reason, but I think it's a huge one.
I don't think like you're saying there. I think they played a part in injuries, but I think you can just put it down to the Championship in general.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Trevor Hood, simple question: what the hell just happened? I was kind of asking myself that last night. I absolutely have no idea, but I liked it, and I hope it happens on a more frequent basis. Linda Pallett asked about James Chester. The trouble is with these, we do leave them to the end, and we've already discussed half the things that people have asked. But at least we're discussing what people are asking. So she asked about James Chester. Thorsten Jensen, will we make the top two? Come on, boys. ITK, stick your neck out. I say yes.
Presumably, I'm the ITK.
Are you?
No.
No, I don't think either of us are.
No, I'm definitely not. I'm going to say no on the balance of probability, but I think we could be. I think we could be one of 3 or 4 that nicks the extra second spot, and yeah, we could be. But I'm going to say on probability, no.
I'm not going to stick my neck out.
All right.
I'm going to say we're capable of it. We've shown by being a really good side yesterday that we're capable of it. I think our fixtures, and Bruce has talked about this, I think our fixtures are going to play a part. We've played most of the tough teams away, and we're very, very good at Villa Park in general, so I think there's a good chance.
Kind of sticking your neck out there.
I'm not saying definitely, but I think there's a good chance. If I had to predict somewhere for us to finish now, I said second at the start of the season, I'd probably say third. I've been saying that for a while.
So you're just going along with the ITK?
You're not ITK. Idiot Thomas. Character with a K.
Bad from you, wouldn't it?
I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
You go to the YouTube comments.
All right, guys, Villa fan man, this is. Guys, I was reading a story in the Mirror about us not paying suppliers and taking out loans to pay players' wages. This is disturbing news. Please don't let this be true. Question the source.
Dr. Tony's rubbish that today.
Yeah.
He's come out and said it's complete fabrication.
Not a huge fan of the Daily Mirror.
Not a huge fan of James Nursey, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Vissoff. Bruce has about 2 to 3 games to sort this out. Or
When was this from?
This was 4 days ago, so it was
before the Middlesbrough game.
Yeah, it must have been.
Okay.
So
he did sort it out.
Has 2 to 3 games to sort this out. Well, Vissoff, you should be happy with that. He seems to have sorted it out. Expectations are high. That kind of stuff. Rob Henry, you answered this question. Do we need a new striker in January window?
Nope.
Chester is an animal, just like our centre-back. Very funny.
Bunny Rabbit Chester.
Oh, yeah. I didn't really get that.
That's because you didn't watch the video, Tom, where the microphone was chewed up.
O'Hare to make an impact from the bench today. Let's start the new year with a bang.
Do you think he did the O'Hare to be funny? We're talking about the rabbits, and then he said O'Hare.
No.
What do you think he's... okay.
But if you did, Chris Lay, then fair play to you. Pure Muscle. Big name, that Pure Muscle.
Well, look at his picture. He's justified.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is this the same guy that's going to give us training?
There's so many muscly people around, Tom. None of them are me and you.
Yeah. Dan Bardell, is there any truth in this Sam Johnston? Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah. Didn't want your opinion on Sam Johnston. Doesn't trust your ITK.
Wow. Well, we'll see when the end of the season comes. Malachi Aubrey.
This is from Fancam's video now.
I live in Bristol, so this gives me the ultimate bragging rights, being the only Villa fan. Enjoy
My friend
it.
Aston, who lives in that area, was very, very worried about this game. He said he gets more nervous about Bristol City than he does about the Birmingham City game because of the people that he knows.
Yeah.
So he'll be really, really happy.
Do you know Bristol City have lost 2 away games this year?
They lost
to Villa and Birmingham.
Yeah, they lost in August. Did they lose in August?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that Birmingham they lost to? Phew.
It's funny, isn't it?
That's a silly defeat now looking back, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Cyberdon Blue, I just woke up from the strangest dream. I dreamt I went to Villa Park and watched the Steve Bruce team play some really exciting attacking football and hammer Bristol City 5-0. Oh well, you have to have a dream, don't you?
I hope he did go because he says he's struggling to get down to games recently due to health. I think that would have been a good one to go to if he did, and I feel like it would be remiss of me not to mention young Tom Griffiths, who always comes on fan cams, really, really nice kid, always tries to be positive, despite his dad's negativity. He always tries to be positive and keep a smile on his face. He's watched some utter dross in his childhood, and then he misses the 5-0 with a tummy upset.
Yeah, that's tough.
Oh, that is... I've got a smile on my face, but that isn't nice. I do feel for him. Hopefully he'll get to see another game.
Not as bad as you missing the cup final.
Oh, no. But there's illness, isn't it? Poor Tom. Mine was just down to sheer bad parenting.
We've got a Wolves fan here, DJ Mixter Wolves. Second place is very doable for Villa. I hope you do it. It will be great to see Wolves and Villa go up automatically.
And Baggies come down.
Yeah, and I would like to see Derby and Birmingham go down the other way.
Derby and Birmingham go down?
No. That was a different point. You said Baggies and I said Birmingham carry on going down.
Well, yeah, I'd like to get rid of them.
I would like to see Derby go up through the playoffs. I'm a Wolves fan and I don't want...
he doesn't want Albion to go down. I bet he doesn't.
Yeah.
Because he's suddenly thinking... He's got the bit between his teeth. Wolves are looking really, really good. I think if Wolves played Baggies now, Wolves would win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would think so. The Premier League needs a good Midlands contingent.
I did like that season when we were all in the Prem. Even though we lost to Birmingham a couple of times, I think it was good when Villa, Baggies, Wolves... who have I missed out here? And Blues. There's Blues I missed out. We're all in the Prem.
He asked a question at the end there. Does any Villa fan want to see the Albion get relegated? You wouldn't
just because
mind?
of the way they took the mick out of us, but then I suppose we've took the mick out of them the 101 times they've got relegated, so I suppose the one time we got relegated, it's fair game.
Yeah. Scotty Edwards, not his biggest fan, but I have to give Bruce credit for last night. His back was against the wall and he let the team play. Grealish showed why the team has to be built around him at number 10, draws in the opposition, which creates space for other players to shine. Scotty
Edwards knows.
I think that's a good comment to finish on.
Yeah. Scotty Edwards liked that comment a lot.
Yeah, well done, Scotty. And well done, Villa.
Yeah, we've gone the hour.
Well, yeah. Totally.
Much more joyous podcast this week than last time out, so hopefully all the Villa fans that are listening or watching this will have enjoyed us talking about the 6 points that we joked about us getting last podcast.
A world away away from where we were last week.
That's it. We usually fanny around with the outro, but I'm not going to do that today. Yep. If you missed any Villa View videos, fan cams, go back and have a look at them and see what the fans were saying after the game. There'll be a match preview coming before Peterborough, and I think I'll probably be doing fan cams after the Peterborough game if Rollo can tear himself away from his puppy Stanley. Thanks for watching and listening. First one of 2018. We're hoping there'll be many, many, many more Villa View videos and Villa View podcasts to come. Thanks to Tom. Up the Villa. 6 points. Let's go home.
Up the Villa. Let's go.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.